Two champions, two very different childhoods. You may know the story. Two cycling titans, Tour de France winners, one Slovenian, one Danish, one with crazy speed, and a Tour de France win at age 21. The other is quiet, methodical, and now, let's just say it, the only man who has ever beaten Tadej Pogačar in a Tour de France head-to-head twice. We're here to talk about why that is, and no, it's not just about watts per kilo, oxygen uptake, or who can climb faster on any of the stages. It goes deeper. It's about who had to work harder to get here, and once you understand what Jonas Vingegaard came from, you'll realise he's not just as good as Tadej. In our opinion, he's better. Let's get back to the beginnings. Tadej Pogačar, the golden boy of Slovenia, grew up in a middle-class household in Komenda. His father was a factory manager, his mother was a French teacher, educated, supportive, and financially stable. Not ultra-rich per se, but well off to throw their full support behind their son's cycling dreams. Tadej was a prodigy. He had the bike, the coach, the travel, the team. From age 9 it was clear that he had talent. By age 16, he was the big guy. He was in a development squad led by Rog Ljubljana, and by 19, he was winning the Tour de Aveleni. His job? Ride his bikes. That's it. Now, let's talk about Jonas Vingegaard. Born in Hilleslev, Denmark, population of mostly sheep, Jonas grew up in a lower income family. Not poor, but not middle class, more lower class. His father worked in Hanstholm fish market, or specifically the auction section. His job was to weigh fish, sort out crates, stack the boxes. Even starting shifts before sunrise was seen as normal for this family. His mother was a school secretary, so not a teacher like Tadej Pogačar's. A fine job, but they weren't exactly rolling in carbon wheels. Jonas followed in his dad's footsteps early on, not onto a bike, but into a cold, brutal, fluorescent-lit fish market at 4 a.m, where he worked part-time while still trying to train and become professional as a cyclist. This was not a fair start. While Tadej was getting VO2 max tests and new bikes every season, Jonas was waking up in the pitch dark at 4 a.m. to lift dead cod. That's our baseline. Section 2. The fish market, where dreams smell like mackerel. Let's talk about the fish job. Jonas Vingegaard worked at the Hamilstrand fish auction, not as a one-off summer job, as a real commitment during his amateur years. In interviews, Jonas has admitted, quote, "I would get up at 4 a.m, go to the fish auction, weigh the fish, sort them. It was physical, cold and hard. Then I would go train in the afternoon." Imagine that. Picture teenage Jonas stacking crates of herring in minus temperatures, coming home stinking of the Northern Sea with pneumonia, grabbing a quick sandwich, and then getting on his bike. No massage table, no nutritionist, no carbon plate recovery shoes, just him and his bike and whatever was left in the tank. Meanwhile, over in Slovenia, teenage Tadej is doing what? Training twice a day, going to altitude camps, being scouted for Slovenian national teams, and enjoying homemade meals, well rested, focused entirely on performance. Let's be clear, this is not some attack on Pogačar, it's just reality. He had a huge head start and he had the support, the setup, the smooth runway to the launch pad. Jonas did it all by himself. He had to build the runway personally himself first, while carrying frozen halibut. And yet, he caught up. Section 3. The training gap that should have doomed him. Now let's look at what this really means, guys. Jonas Vingegaard had less training volume, less recovery, and fewer resources for the majority of his development years. We're talking between the ages of when he started at like 8 or 9 all the way up through to around 19 years old. He can drop Tadej Pogačar still after all of this. Let that sink in, guys. Pogačar had full-time coaching and elite junior development. Oh boy, I'm going to piss off the Pogačar fans with this video. Jonas had a part-time job that literally sapped his legs every day and gave him colds every month. A bad job for an endurance athlete. Early hours, physical labour, poor sleep schedule, the kind of job you wouldn't wish on your rival before a mountain stage. And yet, Jonas made it. He reached the same level. No, actually, he surpassed it. Let's imagine a universe where Jonas Vingegaard, but Tadej's upbringing. No fish, no 4 AM wake-ups, full-time coaching from age 10, altitude camps, power meters, tech, nutritionist, sleep specialist. You think he wouldn't be minutes faster on every climb than Tadej? This is my point. If Jonas had the same resources as Tadej from a young age, and don't go telling me it's equal and fair now, because it's not. From a young age, that is when a cyclist makes and builds most of their base. Most of the greats were training since they were literally 5. If you look at all endurance sports, it's the exact same. People who start late in life literally stand no chance. And even if you start at 15 or 14, you're still at a massive disadvantage to most of the greats and champions who all started at under 10 years old. Jonas would be even faster than he is now if he had Tadej's upbringing. Because despite training less, with more hardships, more fatigue and less support, he is already beating the man everyone called the generational talent. That doesn't mean Tadej isn't great, he is, he's phenomenal, but Jonas is the man who beat him at his own game, with one arm tied behind his blinking back during his formative years. Section 4. Less privilege, more grit. Let's talk about tech and support. Tadej Pogačar has been the UAE Team Emirates since 2018 or 2019, a team that practically breathes crazy level tactics, aero everything, marginal gains everywhere. His bikes cost more than a car. His performance staff outnumbers some small nations' Olympic teams. Jonas, he came up from Kulo Quick, a Danish continental team with budget bikes and minimal infrastructure. He didn't even go to World Tour until he was nearly 23 years old. At age 22, Tadej had already won the Tour de France. At 22, Jonas was still working in the fish auction, as far as I can find, part-time and doing Danish domestic races in the freezing cold. No altitude tent, no custom nutrition plans, just legs and pain tolerance. But that's what makes him fast. All that struggle, every box of haddock lifted at 5 AM, every freezing solo ride through northern Denmark, it made Jonas harder, tougher, hungrier. It made him suffer better. And what's cycling about at the highest level? Well, not necessarily talent. Everyone's talented in a peloton. It's suffering. So when you put Jonas in a World Tour setup, when you finally give him the same tools that Tadej had all along, the results are obvious. 2022 Tour de France, Jonas beats Tadej. 2023 Tour de France, Jonas destroys Tadej. 2024, Tadej wins because Jonas crashed out in April and still nearly made it back. So, if they're equal now, with Jonas having done half the training in his teenage years, then he is inherently faster. Section 5. The maths doesn't lie. Jonas is better because he had less. This argument comes down to the truth. If two riders are equal today, but one of them had significantly fewer resources and training opportunities for the first 20 years of their life, then the rider is more efficient athlete. It's not just a vibe, it's physics. Jonas had less input and the same or better output. That makes him a more efficient rider. He is not a media darling. He's not explosive like Tadej. He doesn't win the panache. He wins with grit. And when the stage is 30 k's uphill, when the altitude hits 2,500 meters, when everything hurts and the cameras are off, that's when Jonas is fastest. Thanks for watching today's video. I may have annoyed some of you by making this, but it's my honest opinion, and I also was interested to see what you guys might think. So the comment section below is open for all of you to voice your opinions on what you think about this. Leave a like on today's video for good luck, and subscribe if this is your first time here to stay up to date with all of the latest cycling news, cycling drama, and cycling results.